Hi, I'm Ariel Myers. I'm the founder of Wisdom of the Womb, and I am just about to drink a cup of my bitch's brew tea. I just made this for myself because I'm about to get my period in a few days, and I figured I would talk to you. Um, First, I'll tell you a little bit about the tea and how to make it, and then I will tell you why. Let's see. Hi, I'm Ariel Myers. I'm the founder of Wisdom of the Womb, and I wanted to talk to you today about my bitch's brew tea. I just made myself a cup because I'm about to get my period in a few days, and I wanted to talk to you about cramping, endometriosis, PMS, tubal blockage, PCOS, adenomyosis. These might all feel like really different things to you and seem like different things, but they're actually in some ways on a continuum. So cramping, someone who just gets cramps before their period might feel really different from someone who has endometriosis. And they are different, but this tea is kind of like my across the spectrum for anybody who has inflammation, stagnation, blood stasis, causing womb pain, cramping, endometriosis. So I'll talk to you about all of those things. But first, I just wanted to tell you how to make a cup of the tea because a lot of you aren't familiar with loose leaf tea. So basically, I tend to use just a cup and pour, almost boiling water over it. A lot of people love the infuser cups, which are like you just put the leaves on the bottom. You pour the water over it and then you push the thing. It's kind of like a French press. I have this little cute little thing that I just put the tea leaves in and then pour the boiling water over it. And I do let it steep for quite a while. I like a pretty strong cup. Keep in mind that the longer you let it steep, the stronger it will be. So especially in the beginning, if you're getting used to the taste of it or you're just not used to it, I love the taste of it and I feel it working on me almost immediately. This is an oldie but goodie. My bitch's brew, I actually developed it, it must have been like almost 15 years ago when I had my fertility wellness center in New Jersey across from New York City. And we were getting a lot of, very high stress women coming in. I personally never really had cramps before my period, but I did definitely get PMS. I might have named it after myself. But yeah, so the herbs in it, I'm not going to read them all, but they're basically herbs that have, supported women in navigating and managing our reproductive health for centuries. I know for some of you who maybe have debilitating menstrual pain, if you had endometriosis, you might be like, how can some herbs or a cup of tea help? But the reality is that, well, a lot of the chemical compounds that come from pain medicines are actually extractions or part of the compound that are in plant medicine. So salicylate, which I think is either Tylenol or acetaminophen, actually comes from the birch tree. There's a lot of anti-inflammatory properties in herbs. I believe that plants were developing alongside humans, and so it makes sense that they function in helping us navigate certain issues and problems that come up with our health. So I have been exclusively working with herbs. I basically never take Tylenol or Advil or painkillers or anything. So I'm a true believer of herbs. And then I've just been hearing, for a decade now from so many women with really significant, even stage 4 endometriosis, who this has helped, all the way down to just, teens getting their first period and they're a little moody, and it helps them kind of navigate that. So I have a lot of information on my website and on YouTube about why we get cramping, why we might get PMS, why we might get endometriosis. I'll just talk a little bit about it. But if you really want to learn more, there's a ton of just free resources on my website. If you go to either the Bitches Brew page, there's some videos there, the 5 ounce full product page. We also have an endometriosis bundle where you could learn more about endometriosis. We have a PCOS bundle. This tea is in a lot of our bundles just because it's so important for women to start moving through the blood stagnation, and I'll talk about that. But it's in the high FSH bundle, the PCOS bundle, the endometriosis and fibroid bundle, the tubal blockage bundle, and just the fertile wellness bundle, which is basically for like PMS. A lot of the products on our website are for fertility, but know that even if you're not trying to get pregnant, it's really important to support your overall reproductive health, which has just to do with being a woman with, a uterus. And even if you don't have a uterus, like I know some women who have decided to have their uterus removed because their endometriosis was so severe, and this still helps the area. If you have your ovaries remaining, or just to move through the stagnation that has been developing there. So, in terms of like, why do we cramp? We might think that that's just like a natural part of menstruating, of being a woman. But the reality is that even though it's very common, cramping is actually not normal or healthy when it comes to a normal or healthy period. So cramping is an indication that there is stagnation or stasis of blood, which is basically like when your blood is not completely flowing smoothly. It's basically supposed to be flowing like a river, just moving, comes out. Some women wake up and they're like, oh, look, I got my period. Have like no cramps, nothing. And some of you were like, that is not me. So for those of you that is not, there's definitely a reason why we might cramp, and I'll talk about. Well, first I'll share. It's almost like I mentioned. There's like a river, right? So say there's a creek, and the water's flowing, and then just over time with daily, life happening, we might get some stressors. That is almost like leaves accumulating in the creek, or sticks or branches. And so the water kind of has to like flow around them or flow through them. We might have some like significant traumas, either like a long extended period of a lot of stress, or we might have, a sexual trauma. We might actually have like a physical trauma, either an abortion or a miscarriage that we don't fully grieve or recover from. And the study of epigenetics now shows that we actually can hold the trauma of our ancestors in our womb. So I believe women especially, and I've seen this a lot in endometriosis, where we're actually holding like ancestral trauma in our wombs. If I said that like 20 years ago, people were like, she's crazy. And now it's like, haha, epigenetics, not crazy. It's actually its own science, and it's valid and totally legitimate. So, we don't necessarily have to know why. Of course, it supports us to understand if there's trauma that needs to be resolved. It's important to understand and work through, but really the physical response to that is almost as if that creek, you might be accumulating little sticks and things, but a big trauma might be like a log just gets thrown in there. And so the water kind of has to like go outside of it, right? It can't flow over it anymore, so it has to go outside of it. So endometriosis might be like actually like your blood is flowing outside of the vessels of the uterus or outside of the vessels. And so it's kind of a continuum, right? Like when we have just like a little sticks and stuff in there, we might get some like cramping. It's basically like the blood is blocked, so our energy has to go around it. And then a huge, the more it builds up, we actually might have blood like coming outside of our vessels. I know some women who have endometriosis actually they found the tissues like in their nose, and they might get bloody noses. I had one patient who actually, it like navigated to her thumb, and her thumb would bleed every month with her period. So, it's the body is wild and interesting. But so basically the herbs in here, they support the uterus. They help to move through blood. They help to kind of unblock blood. So we might call them like blood invigorators. There's also chi or energetic invigorators that will help move chi. So the blood moves with the chi, and the chi moves with the blood. The chi is just energy. And then there's also like really relaxing herbs. There's herbs that help balance your hormones, because often endometriosis, PCOS, that might be like an abundance of estrogens, and if we don't process our estrogens, they just kind of build up and accumulate. We might get breast tenderness. High FSH is a little bit different. That might actually be a little bit more heat in the body, or not enough yin. So this actually has some yin nourishers in there. There's different herbs, like if you have endometriosis or PMS or cramping, you would just do Bitches Brew for the entire month. But if you have high FSH or PCOS, there's actually other things you do after you finish the bag. So come back to our website and look, but you could just start with the Bitches Brew. Blocked tubes are often due to inflammation. You know, a lot of this has to do with inflammation in our body, and actually they're showing that possibly endometriosis is either very closely related to autoimmune issues or might actually be its own autoimmune disease. PCOS is a metabolic condition. It's not a reproductive health condition. So really supporting your overall health and reducing inflammation across the board is really important. Some of you with blocked tubes might ask, like, what if I have hydrosalpinx? Because that's water in the tubes. You can try this, but often, and actually I will say many women who have used this have cleared their tubes. But especially if you're using it to try to get pregnant, we could just talk, but that's, you know, that fluid can tend to be kind of pathological in terms of it has like bacteria and stuff in there that won't support pregnancy. So I think a lot of you are here not for fertility though, so I know our site has a lot of fertility information in it, so I just wanted to make a specific page for you that is like really just focused on supporting your overall health, which of course includes your reproductive health, and most importantly getting you out of pain and like having you feel like you. And of course, you know, all of you is welcome. And even like we say, like, if you can't handle me in my ovulatory phase, you don't, you know, deserve me in my luteal phase. But we really want to support you feeling, you know, feeling like the best version of your luteal self as possible. And we tend to like the young, dark energy that comes out during our luteal phase. We think that's important too, but definitely like having you feel, you know, like not in pain is a significant goal. So we've had lots of women with pretty significant cramping and endometriosis, PMDD, who have worked with Bitches Brew Tea. And yours might be a different color now. We'll see. My bag is opened and used, but this is one of my favorites. I've been working with it with multiple patients and myself, and I think like over 10,000 women online. There's definitely lots of reviews on the main Bitches Brew page and on the bundle pages. So there's lots of information for you if you want to check it out and see. But this bag for you is free. So just pay for shipping and we'll send it to you. And there's definitely lots of like good add-ons and stuff that you could try another time. But for this, we really just wanted to get this into the hands of women who need this, because we feel like there's not enough just real education and information, and a lot of women don't recognize there's so much you can do to support yourself, and it's easy and it's simple and it is not expensive and it's from the earth. And some of you might ask about side effects and stuff. I don't really see them as side effects in the same way like a pill. Like if you take a painkiller, you're actually stifling your symptoms, which can cause side effects. We don't believe in stifling our symptoms. We believe that our symptoms are actually messages from the body that we want to bring balance to. So some women might notice that they either have more bleeding in the beginning or less bleeding. They might get a little bit queasy or nauseous. They might feel twinges in different places. This is all energy moving. So the idea is that anytime you have cramping, it means there's blockage, right? Those sticks in the river. And so we need to actually take them out. So there might be more movement. There needs to be more movement in order to move through that, to get your energy flowing. So you might notice, you know, even slightly, I don't want to say more cramping. It's a different kind of cramping. I don't want to freak you out that you're going to have more pain. The idea is you have less pain. But I definitely recommend, we have like moxa on our website, which is a little warming stick that you could use that will really invigorate the blood and just help move through that a little quickly. I also have a free massage tutorial that is highly recommended that can help just move through some of that more quickly. With castor oil packs are amazing for when it comes to cramping. So there's so much you could do. I'm recognizing this video is getting lengthy, but obviously this is a topic I could talk about for like hours. So here for your questions. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And cheers.